Hi there, welcome to my right of way. Some people also call this area the Hell Strip. It's the area between the street and the public sidewalk. A lot of people call this the Hell Strip because they have an impossible time sometimes um, getting things to grow because often it's full blazing sun, a lot of heat conduction from being in between the asphalt of the street and the concrete sidewalk. But I have to admit that my right of way is not even close to a hell strip. It's actually one of my favorite garden spaces in my whole landscape. So today I'm going to be talking about two really tough, hardy plants that are very xeric. It's kind of overcast right now, but normally this is a full blazing, full sun area in my landscape all day. Today, I want to share a couple of my favorite perennials to use in a full sun area, ideal for any right of way that's full sun. Um, and Let me start with Centranthus. This is Centranthus ruber, and it's actually kind of an old-fashioned traditional plant that a lot of gardens throughout the country have. And for years, I actually kind of ignored this plant because I thought it was like too common, too traditional, and it didn't really spark my interest. Um, but ironically, it must have been planted by a bird. Who dropped some seeds when they were flying over my yard. It was a really magical surprise because it forced me to observe this plant and realize how much I love it, even though it's common. So the scientific name is Centranthus ruber. There's also a white flowering variety, but the pink raspberry color is actually my favorite because the color attracts hummingbirds and butterflies. So let me tell you another reason why I absolutely adore this plant. Not only is it super xeric or low water, but it has this lovely foliage that's kind of a blue-green color. And it almost, if you feel the leaf, it almost has like a rubbery, waxy texture. It's not a succulent, but it almost feels like it could be. Uh, so the other thing I absolutely adore about this perennial, the common name being Jupiter's beard or red valerian, is that this perennial literally started blossoming in May, and now it is late July. And it will actually continue to bloom to the first frost. And it's almost like having continuous color like you would with annuals, because a lot of perennials, as you may know, only bloom for a couple weeks. So it's really unusual to have a perennial that um, blooms continuously through the whole growing season. And like I said, it attracts hummingbirds. It has it has a collection of tiny little tube-like flowers, and that's what attracts the hummingbirds. And then, a lot of other pollinators like butterflies and moths and bees just absolutely adore this plant. Next, I want to introduce you to another one of my favorite perennials, which is growing right here in front of my Centranthus ruber. It is Agastache rupestris. The common name is sunset hyssop. It started blooming a couple weeks ago, and this is another amazing perennial that will actually bloom until the first frost. So these make a wonderful pairing. You can see that the flowers have kind of an orange tubular flower Again, another hummingbird magnet and pollinator magnet for that matter. But if you want to have as many hummingbirds in your garden as possible, plant as many agastache or centranthus as you can squeeze in your garden. They're absolutely fabulous. The other thing that is a really nice characteristic of this Agastache rupestris, it has an amazing smell. It's actually in the mint family, but it's not invasive. Don't ever plant mint in the ground. Mint needs to be in a pot. But this, even though it's related to mint, it is not invasive. It stays where you put it. It grows about 3 feet tall and then about 2 feet wide. I forgot to mention that centranthus rubor actually grows about 3 feet tall and about 2 to 3 feet wide. It needs a little bit more space. The other thing that I absolutely adore about the Agastache rupestris is not just the scent or the fact that it attracts hummingbirds, one of my favorite birds, is that it has this wonderful lacy foliage. It almost makes it feel like it's delicate, but it's not delicate. Again, these are two really, really hardy plants. In fact, when I was redoing my irrigation in the right-of-way, this was dug up and then replanted, and we cut it almost down to the ground to conserve the energy in the roots. And that was, I think, last year, and it's now just doing great and blooming and attracting hummingbirds to my garden. So I hope you enjoyed learning more about two of my favorite perennials. They're great for full sun and are long bloomers like the centranthus and hummingbird attractors. And again, thank you for watching this video,